This video is by Straight Goods News. SG News.
Set up this committee. There were some concerns expressed at the time.
Of course there were. I expressed them. Other people expressed them. So I'm glad that I think he's finally recognizing that you appoint a very unrepresentative committee to make recommendations. They're going to come up with ideas that frankly don't make a whole lot of sense to most Canadians. Most Canadians are interested in having a greater degree of public security and public safety. The idea that you wouldn't have your police and representatives of your police forces on a committee that's dealing with public access to firearms is just ridiculous, and I hope that the Prime Minister has learned something from this experience.
Among the recommendations that you saw, the licensing one seemed to be the one the RCMP flagged in the meeting. What are the concerns you had when you saw the recommendations?
Well, it's the overall tenor of the recommendations, and that is it's time to loosen overall the approach that we have to access to weapons, dealing with the issue of restricted weapons and so on. I mean, this is an area where, frankly, the public does not share the ideological enthusiasm of the conservative backbench. The people are just not interested in increasing, access to weapons. They're interested very much in reducing public access to dangerous firearms, we've had the debate about the long gun registry, but we do have to understand as a country that one of the advantages we've had as a country is a very strong sense of public safety, and this has been something that's kept us together as a country for a long time. To be fair to the Prime Minister, you don't always see on the floor of the House of Commons the Prime Minister say, well, yeah, that's a good idea, I accept your suggestion. So the fact that we suggested that suicide prevention groups and domestic violence groups and the police themselves should be involved in dealing with this issue is important.
Heard that. That's the thing. Like, why? So is that a sop they've thrown to you today? He didn't say we won't do the licensing.
I think to be fair, Tanya, I think what happened is, I think the Prime Minister was probably taken aback by the lack of political sensitivity and common sense of a committee that would come up with those kinds of recommendations at a time when Canadians are looking in a very different direction. And sometimes when you do things, you learn. Let's hope the Prime Minister's learned something.